Peace. Welcome back to another episode of the Parry. We don't pull or duck no punches, and the parry is fundamental to boxing. I am your host, Bomani UFG.
I am the pragmatic Che Black.
And welcome back to another episode of the Parry. First, let me ask y'all to please jab that like button. Go ahead and uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. Please follow us on all forms of social media: Instagram at the Parry 101, on X at the Parry 101, and on TikTok at the Parry 101. Yo, Che Blicky, what's good with you, man?
You know, it's the same fight, different round, brother. We here, man. We here.
No doubt. Yeah, man. Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is back, man. But before we even get to that, let's get some updates on some boxing news. Did you catch the Ammo Williams fight? He fought Patrice Volney last night, winning by unanimous decision, if I'm not mistaken. Unanimous. I think it was unanimous. Also you had who else fought? Who am I forgetting? Oh, Nick Ball fought TJ. I forgot my man last name, man. I'm bad with names. I'm bad with these European names. No disrespect. You know what I'm
Only
saying?
for the Doheny, the how you say his name.
Yeah, Doheny. Yeah.
Doheny, for the WBA featherweight title, retaining the title with a 10th round knockout. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Nick Ball, man. I like that kid, but he kind of reminds me of Pitbull Cruz. I think him and Pitbull Cruz will be like, that'll be a barn burner, man. That'll be a really good fight between them two. I know he's a featherweight. But they in and around the same division, man. I think that fight can happen at some point in the future. You know, two small, compact fighters who go in there to knock you out. I think that'll be a real exciting fight, man. So hopefully one day that'll happen, man. But congrats to both those guys for winning their fights. But yeah, man, Keith Thurman. Keith, one-time Thurman. At one time, you know, he disappeared from the sport, went up in the mountains of Kathmandu. You know what I mean? Found him a wife start playing the flute.
I mean, he started turning into Once Upon a Time. You know, this is what, a 3-year layoff we're talking about right now. You know, he came back. He came back to fight this Brock kid after 3 years over in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, his last fight was
It was
yeah,
against
3 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
against Mario Barrios,
this
man.
was a 3-year layoff we're talking about here.
Yeah. Yo, Keith, what's up, man? Yo, hey, look, Keith Thurman at one point was like one of my favorite fighters, man. He was real exciting. He was really putting guys to sleep. Went on a hell of a run. I mean, let's be real. Like Keith Thurman, his record is still impeccable, man. I mean, he's 31-1 now after his victory over Brock Jarvis. Um, Keith Thurman, man. Like I think he's kind of, because of the long layoffs in between fights. I think before, let me check. His last fight, all right, it's been 3 years since he fought Mario Barrios, and it was almost 3 years between the Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios fight.
So
That's when
we're looking at over 5 years. We're looking at close to 6 years with 2 fights.
Well, in the
We're
meantime,
talking
he was
about
calling fighters out. He had an injury too. We got to give him that. He did have an injury. I think it was his hand or something like that. But And between fights, he was calling out Terrence Crawford and even Errol Spence. He was trying to get a fight with, at least talking about it. He likes to talk. A lot of times he was, unfortunately, over the past 5 years or so, or even at certain points towards the end of his run before the Pacquiao fight, he did a lot of talking and not a lot of showing, man. Talking a big game and really calling out fighters that I don't believe, or some people don't believe, he had intentions on fighting. But
Such and so. Who you don't think he had intentions on ever fighting that he was calling out? With Spence?
Spence, Crawford.
So you think he was calling out Spence with no intentions to fight Spence?
Well, I think when Spence was calling him out, right? He was saying that basically like, shorty, go get a belt, like go do something in the division, and he pretty much cleaned up the division, other than Terrence Crawford. And then when he started calling out Spence, I guess to really defend the point that maybe he did have intention on fighting Spence because he was the man at that point in the division. But Spence didn't want to fight him. Spence basically said, like, I'm not fighting you, man. After all the way you disrespected me and all that stuff he was talking
Because he
before.
told him to get a belt. Because he told himself to make it worth it. Because he said, make this a championship fight. Let's make this a unify. Because he said, get a strap, put yourself on my level as a world champion, make yourself a world beater, and we'll make this happen. We'll make this a unification fight. Because he said that. Now, that's disrespect. I'm confused here. That is that really disrespect?
Spence was the a rising star in the division and in the sport. Like his upward trajectory was looking like that of a superstar. Like he was going to be that dude. And I think
indeed he was on his way to a title.
Right, but the fans was also the fans, including myself, we wanted to see that fight, right? To really see what Spence was at, and Keith Thurman being at the time being a man in the division, a unified champion, if I'm not mistaken. That'd have been a good fight. That's a fight a lot of the fans wanted, and some people felt like Spence might have put the beats on him, man. Considering that Spence was on a hell of a run, knocking everybody out, getting highlight knockouts, it was looking like Spence might have been the man, and in order to become the man, he had to go through Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman just wasn't having it. And a lot of times, come on, let's keep it real. Like that's been a way to duck certain fights throughout, the history of boxing. Where cats say, "Well, go do this, go accomplish something in the division, go get a title."
What do you mean? Don't want to fight. I'm disagreeing with that. But go ahead, because I don't.
I mean, we've heard it before. Yes or no? We've heard that before.
I've heard it before, but I've heard fighters say that, but I never considered that as an excuse not to fight a fighter outright.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's an excuse.
Most of the time, these are fights that took place. So in most cases, most of the time when I hear a fighter tell a fight, go to either go get a title or talk to your promoter. You know what I'm saying? And these things are done, the fight usually happens.
I hear you.
That's usually a prerequisite. The whole idea that Spence was not the man to beat. Thurman was the man to beat. Errol Spence was on the rise. He was on a meteorite rise. However, he was not a champion. He did not have a title at welterweight division at the time.
Until he ended up breaking the eye socket of another one of my favorite fighters at the time.
Re-injuring.
No, he broke the other eye.
He re-injured.
Not re-injuring. No, he didn't. He broke the other eye, man. Do we need to take a bet? He broke the other eye. He broke the other eye of Kell.
I get it. After he fought Triple G, his whole face was broke after he fought Triple G.
So that's what we're doing now. Now we trying to shit on.
If that's what you take it. If that's how you take it. If you go back to what I've said about Errol Spence, nobody can translate anything I'm saying to shit on him. I'll give it my opinion. My opinion may not always sound like I'm cheerleading. My opinion may not come with a pair of pom-poms, but this is my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. He went through Kell Brook, got the IBF strap. He was the mandatory, um, and then he went on a hell of a run. Started collecting straps. It was title. What was strap season? He was
But
calling
we're
it
not
or
talking
whatever.
about after he won a title, because once he won a title, he started talking about he doesn't want to fight Thurman. We're talking about he
Nah, that
was
was way
told.
later. That was after the Kathmandu run. That was when he was on a sabbatical up there, playing flutes. I'm just saying. And then when he came back into the sport, it's like, yo, yeah, I'll fight you. And
When
Spencer
he
was like,
came back
nah, too
into the
late now.
sport, he was dethroned. He no longer was the man.
Yeah,
His
he
less
needed the Spence fight. Now, see, the thing is, Spence needed that Thurman fight at the time. Or should I say, I ain't gonna say he needed it because eventually he got to where he got to, but that was more like that was a fight that the fans was demanding. You know what I'm saying? A fight that Spence kept
I'm
calling
gonna
him
be
out.
honest with you. When you say the fans was demanding it, you're talking about the hardcore boxing fans. You're talking about like this was
Yeah.
not a crossover fight. This was not going to be a big fight. The fight with him and Garcia was bigger than that. And what he was, and in all honesty, and I'm not saying this is necessarily what was in either fighter's mind, Thurman or Spence, but by telling him to get a belt, that's saying make this a bigger fight, man. Make this the fight that it's supposed to be. That fight was not mature when Spence wanted to make that fight. When Spence wanted to make that fight happen, the potential for what that fight could have been worth was not worth that. And the fact that Thurman told him to get a belt, I don't even believe those was Thurman's words personally. I think
What?
somebody gave Thurman those words to say. Somebody told Thurman to say those words. I don't think that came out of Thurman's mind to speak those words. Though it might
Who
have
you
came
mean
out of his
not?
mouth, but
Who was that?
I
Al
don't
Heyman?
think most likely, but who knows? It could be anybody in this, any one of his handlers, because it sounds like something that's business. It doesn't sound like something a fighter would say. It sounds like something somebody with a business mind would think. I remember when Floyd Mayweather first linked up with Jay Prince, and all of a sudden you started hearing all of this villain cell and all of this talking money and all that wasn't Floyd talking. That was somebody else speaking, and he was repeating what he believed. You know what I mean? Or what he thought was right. So it happens all the time. People speak other people's words all the time. And I
Listen,
think
man, I'm
that
not.
was the case.
I took it as you was scared. You ain't want to fight that boy at that time because my man was putting the lights out, man.
If you
He was
think
shutting
that
people. He
fighters are
was shut.
scared
He
of
was
each
shut.
other, if you really
He
think that fighters are scared of each other, I mean, you had
listen,
like if
man.
that's what you think, I don't think that. I don't believe, and this comes from being around fighters. This comes from just knowing the sport. I don't believe that fighters are actually scared to fight each other. I don't believe that. Does it happen? Yes, but on an overall, no, I don't believe that.
I
I
can't
don't.
believe I'm hearing this.
I don't.
I'm
I
not
don't.
saying all. I'm not saying in every circumstance when a fighter don't fight the next fighter that he's scared. Even if it's that may be the opinion of certain fans or pundits of the sport. But you really trying to tell me that there's no fighter who don't have some fear in their heart of another fighter?
No, that's not what I told you. That's not what I said. I did not. I said, of course, there are fighters. I'm sure there's fighters out there who are scared of other fighters. But on an
Mm.
overall, I said that. I said overall, I don't think fighters are scared to fight each other. You know what I mean? Boxing is not a sport
Overall,
scary people get into. Boxing is not a sport you get into and you see someone like boxers don't see fighters knock someone out and say, yo, I'm scared to fight him. They go in there and say, yo, I can beat him. You know what I mean? Or I want to
hold
beat
on.
him.
We
Or what beating
we
him
gonna
can
get
bring.
back to Keith. We got to get back to Keith Thurman. But before we do that, so you telling me you don't think some of the fighters that Canelo didn't fight that it wasn't a little bit of like I don't know if I want to fight this guy at right now. Like and it ain't got nothing to do with like making the fight bigger or none of that because he fought guys that they just wasn't big names. John Ryder, for as an example. So you mean to tell me, he's not fighting David Benavidez because maybe he's a little shook? Like, ooh, this guy's a tough fight. I can find an easier route.
Scared, outright scared? No. Do I think that Canelo believes that there's a chance he could lose? Yes. I think that he thinks that that could be a fight that he could lose, and it's not worth it for his brand. Now, if you want to translate that to be scared to fight him because of that, I can respect that because I can see that. But outright scared, no. But Canelo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't seen a fighter duck fighters like Canelo. Like there's rare occasions. There's Canelo, there's Sugar Ray Leonard not wanting to see the Hawk. Like it's it there are cases where we can say, yo, that guy definitely seemed
Floyd
like that was the
Floyd not
person he
fighting
wanted to
Paul
fight.
Williams.
I think that
Flo-
if Paul Williams wouldn't have gotten hurt or knocked out, that fight would have happened. If Paul Williams would have continued winning his fights, that fight would have happened. And if you don't think so, okay, but people didn't think that Floyd was going to fight Corrales. People didn't think that Floyd was going to fight Pacquiao. Floyd, like, I don't see who Floyd outright ducked. If Floyd was going to duck anybody, I mean,
I'm
if he
gonna
was
say
going to
this.
duck
Paul
anybody, it would have been Paul Williams. If he was going to duck anybody, I'll say that. I will say that. And more because Floyd didn't seem like he wanted to fight brothers who had skills. He didn't seem like he liked fighting skilled brothers.
Paul Williams was a come forward fighter, action packed, over 6 feet, like 6'2",
He would have knocked Paul
welterweight.
Williams out
It,
though. He would have I think he would have beat Paul Williams pretty bad.
Paul Williams was a big. That dude was big. Paul was like, yo, fam. My man was like 6'2", 147. Eventually went up to middleweight.
So was Corrales.
Corrales didn't fight at middleweight.
Corrales fought all the way up to what, junior middleweight, at least welterweight. And
We'll look
regardless,
that
what I'm
up.
saying about Corrales is Corrales was 6'1" when they fought.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't Paul Williams. And no disrespect to Dio Corrales, rest in peace to the legend. You know what I'm saying?
Corrales might have been better
Probably a
than
bit
Paul
better.
Williams.
Yeah, I'm
We
gonna give you
probably have
that.
to help us say that we would have to debate
I'm gonna
on that
give you
one.
that. Nah, I don't even think it's up
If
for
you're gonna
debate.
say that he's
My
not a
opinion,
Paul Williams,
I'm saying as far as the attribute, Paul Williams' arms was probably longer than Floyd's legs.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he came to fight. There was different styles. Styles make fights. But look, we getting
Look at the
sidetracked.
fights that Paul Williams lost, and look at the fighters he lost.
Which one? Sergio?
He didn't just lose to Sergio. Who else he lost? He lost to
Obviously.
Sergio. He lost to Hold on, I'm gonna pull his resume up right now, real quick.
He lost to Sergio. He fought Antonio Margarito. I think he won that fight.
Don't be thinking here, brother. This is the Parry.
Listen, man, I know my Paul Williams was my guy. I think he beat Antonio Margarito, but let's look it up.
I think he lost to Margarito. He lost to Margarito. He lost to let me see where he at. Oh wow.
Got like 100 Paul Williams up here. There you go, the Punisher. All right. He only got 2 losses on the record, both to Sergio, no? No, he beat Sergio once.
No, I'm about to say he beat Sergio and he lost to Quintana. No, that was he lost to
Carlos Quintana.
He lost to Quintana.
Yeah, I told you he beat Antonio Margarito. Don't doubt my knowledge.
Listen, he lost to Quintana. It was one of them. Quintana,
this is
Margarito.
the Parry, man. When I say it, take it to the bank. Stop playing.
Quintana, Margarito. What's the difference? You know
I'm just saying. I told you, man. I told you. When I said I said it with confidence. All right, not really, but still, I knew what I was talking about.
So
stop this.
So Floyd Mayweather, right?
Yeah.
In 2007, was supposed to fight Paul Williams, is what you're saying.
That was a fight people was calling for, man. Like, come on. People wanted to see that fight.
In 2007, he was supposed to fight Paul Williams. I don't think so. However, I would say it was a fight that people wanted to see. It was a fight that could have sold some tickets, but then he loses to Quintana. Then he comes back and beats Quintana.
Right.
So that was a good thing about him. Yeah, I mean, he had the resilience. I remember Paul Williams, but
Listen,
after the
man,
fight,
he beat Winky Wright, Sergio Martinez, Kermit Cintron. Then he lost to Sergio. Beat Erislandy Lara.
I gotta look at that Sergio fight. I gotta
Come
review the
on, man.
what's fight again.
I'm just saying, man.
I
Listen,
got,
man.
I
It's the
gotta, I
Parry.
gotta, I gotta review the Winky Wright fight again. I gotta review that fight again.
Listen, man. Respect to Paul the Punisher Williams, man. But back to Keith Thurman, man. Back to Keith Thurman. Let's analyze his legacy before we even get to his last fight against Brock Jarvis. And remember, a lot of people forget that the brand Premier Boxing Champions, Al Heyman and the folks over there,
Mm-hmm. Al
their
Heyman.
first their first premier fighter, you know what I mean, to really boost their brand was Keith Thurman. And I think after the Jesus Soto Carras fight is where he really started to make his name, going on to beat Julio Diaz, Leonard Bundu. He beat Robert Guerrero, Luis Calazo, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Jose Cito Lopez, and then finally he gets to fight with Manny Pacquiao. Um, which is let me pull this up. Sorry, wrong one.
Get it right, brother.
I got it. I'm here with you.
There's the fight with
Yes,
Pacquiao. You see
see him getting
Pacquiao
dropped.
after he said that. Pause that real quick. I mean, wait a minute. Put that on pause real quick now. There you see Pacquiao catching him with that sneaky right hand. Now, he said that in this fight, right? Pacquiao was like the T-Rex. He said he had the little T-Rex arms and he wouldn't be able to hit him because he had the little T-Rex arms and he would just be able to hit him with them straight shots, right? This is what what uh what Thurman said coming
Right.
into the fight, right? Now we seen that in the first round, end of the first round, what the little arm did. We see what the little arm did. See, he wasn't watching the tapes. He wasn't watching the feet movement of Pacquiao. And I had never ever seen him that boisterous before a fight. But go ahead.
Well, I think he discounted. I mean, he looked at the arms, but he discounted the feet. Manny Pacquiao got really quick feet at
Very
the
quick.
same time.
Look at the
So you
we got him
know,
tagging that boy up.
And Pacquiao is a legend. Let's
He
keep
was
it real.
hurting
He
that boy. But
probably
there you go, Keith Herman coming on. That was at the end of the fight. In the 11th round, Keith Thurman really started coming on strong. The second half of the fight, I must admit, Keith Thurman did show in this fight he was no dog and he was not going to just go out and accept defeat. He fought up until the very last round. The fight was close. They called it a split decision. So, you know, it was close even to the judges judging the fight. They didn't even all agree. But at the end, I thought it was a close one. I know you believe that Pacquiao, that Thurman actually won. I thought that Pacquiao probably edged it off with that knockdown. I think that knockdown was probably the difference in that fight. But it was a close fight, and so now we can say we can honestly say that Keith Thurman in the ring has never showed that he was a dog, or if he did, it wasn't no mutt. I mean,
well,
he showed
I
that it
thought
wasn't.
I thought in the Pacquiao fight he showed that he had heart. He got up from the knockdown. It looked like it didn't look like a devastating shot, but Manny Pacquiao was known to
He
pack
was
a
stunned. He
serious
was
punch.
stunned though.
Yeah, for sure, for
He was
sure.
stunned.
You know what I mean?
I
But I
seen his
think him
leg go
backing
low.
up,
Seen his leg stiffen up a little bit. He was stunned.
it was like he was backing up, moving back, got caught with a shot. His
It was
balance was off.
square on the
It was
chin.
it was no,
Look
it
at
was
that.
part.
Run that shot. Run that shot back. Bring that
Hold up,
beat
man.
back.
You know what?
Bring
Actually,
that
nah,
beat
hold up.
back.
I'm gonna have to. Oh man, my fault. I deleted it by accident. Um, but yeah, that's my fault. My fault, G. I ain't know you was gonna wheel up selector, pull up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know you was doing all that. But again, but even before the Pacquiao fight, if I'm not mistaken, um, he fought. I wish you would have put up the Sean Porter clip, but he fought Danny Garcia. Now Danny Garcia at the time
That's a fight.
was yeah, I think this, if I'm not mistaken, this was a unification bout, if I'm
This
not
is a
mistaken.
unification fight. This was two undefeated fighters. This was a, you know, who's the man. This was a who's the man fight. Uh, I personally thought this fight was very close. Could have went either way. It was again a split decision which to me, I was starting to me, the luster on Thurman was starting to appear. There you see Thurman fighting his way as he was backing up, retreating in the last round. It looked like he thought he had it won, so he tried to just move around, which I didn't like how he employed that style in that fight. I thought that he barely won that fight. Like, and I was rooting for him. I was really rooting for him, but I felt like he barely won that fight. I mean, it was a
I
fight that
was
could have went either
yeah,
way. A rematch should have happened. It might not have been the most exciting fight as far as just two-way action, but it was an intriguing fight, and both fighters had their moments in that fight.
I thought it was a good fight. Damn, was I at that fight?
It was in the Barclays. How could you forget
I
it? You was
know.
at that fight.
I don't. I've been to a lot of fights at the Barclays, man. I know I was at a couple Keith Thurman fights. I
Yeah,
seen.
but
No,
you
he
don't know
fought.
the fights. I've been to a lot of fights, but I could tell you the
Listen,
fight.
man. Listen, man. I'm
I
getting
might
this
not
bread
even
in
be
here
able to tell
too.
you where they was at. I might forget where they might have been at.
I know.
I didn't.
I saw him fight Josecito Lopez. Let me look at the. Is Josecito Lopez? Yeah, I saw him fight Josecito Lopez. I think it was. That's exactly who it was. But was it I might have been at the Danny Garcia fight too. So don't hold me to that. I have to go back look through my archives of photos. But Keith Thurman, again, being the one who the Premier Boxing Champions brand kind of or promotions and as a brand kind of built on the shoulders or off the back of Keith Thurman, who was going on a run, knocking guys out. He was coming out with the red, white, and blue trunks. You know what I mean? Keith one time he was a good talker, charismatic, and taking on tough
I think
fights,
you're going
man.
to. I think you're going a little bit too far with the on the shoulders. He was one of their premier. He was one of their premier. You
Who
know,
before Keith Thurman
fighters.
was their fight? Who was they promoting more than Keith Thurman at the time?
When you say put it on his shoulders, that Keith Thurman put PBC. PBC was a lot more wheels moving for PBC. Floyd Mayweather was a major factor for the PBC movement.
He wasn't a PBC fighter. What are we talking about here? Keith Thurman was the first fighter that they was promoting like that, bro. He was their guy. He was they flagship fighter. Keith Thurman. There's nobody before him. Man, who we are you serious? I can understand what you're saying in the sense of Floyd's relationship with Al Heyman and really putting Al Heyman probably from a financial standpoint in business in regards to just the amount of money he probably made off Floyd being able and managing and advising Floyd being able to parlay that over into creating the Premier Boxing Championships and be able to get the deals with Showtime and things of that nature. But as far as like gaining a following and popularity through a fighter for your brand, Keith Thurman was the first fighter they was promoting. That's a fact.
You said PBC was the first fighter they was promoting.
No, Keith Thurman was the first fighter that PBC was pushing like that. Not that they didn't have other fighters before him, but he was the first fighter that they was pushing like that and really promoting and putting out there and giving a lot
Okay,
of airtime to.
so at the same time they were pushing and promoting him, they had brought Floyd Mayweather along to do the whole cross promotion with Adrian Broner at the same time that you're talking about. Don't forget. And Adrian Broner was the one that PBC really thought was going to be something. That's why Al Heyman got with Floyd to do this whole big bro, little bro thing. That was an Al Heyman play. So all of that we seen with Floyd and Adrian Broner, that was because they were trying to make Adrian Broner the star. And it was Keith Thurman, and I'm not taking nothing away from Keith Thurman. I just felt like when you said that Keith Thurman put it on his shoulders like he did it by himself, it was Keith Thurman.
I didn't say he did it by himself.
Well, when
I'm
you say
saying
someone
he
put
was
something
the
on their shoulders, that's what that actually implies, bro.
he the one who built
And
PBC
like,
up to the point
exactly him. You're
where
saying
it
he
got.
did, and exactly. So like
Yeah,
I'm saying, he didn't. He was one of the fighters. It was him
bro. He
along with
was the guy.
Adrian Broner. You know what I'm saying? Were the two.
Adrian, come on, you can't be serious. We're not doing this. You can't be serious.
So you're telling me that Adrian Broner wasn't the fighter that PBC was putting all their chips
did
behind?
did they have a TV deal for their promotion? Was it PBC Premier Boxing Champions presents Bang? Keith Thurman.
The first PBC card had Keith Thurman and Adrian Broner on it. What are you talking about? The very first PBC card had both of them on it.
Keith Thurman is the one they was pushing, bro. If that was the first card, what happened to Adrian Broner after that? Who did he fight on that card?
They continued to push him until he lost. He fought John Molina on that card. And they continued to push him.
When you think of PBC, it's Keith Thurman, bro. Not Adrian Broner. Keith Thurman.
At the time, it was Adrian Broner. I know you want to rewrite how the history was. At that particular time, it was Adrian Broner, man. It was.
Yo, and my people in the comment section, man, please, whoever checking it, man, tell me I'm wrong, bro. Like Adrian Broner.
You don't have to tell nobody nothing. Just Google it and look at it. All you got to do is just Google.
I don't care what Google said. I remember.
Why did they bring in Floyd? Why did they bring in Floyd?
Why did they bring in Floyd?
Why did
Floyd had his own promotion?
But why was Floyd promoting Adrian Broner? And I'm not talking about as a fighter promoting him. I'm talking about why was he running around with Adrian Broner trying to promote him like he was his little brother when they had no previous relationship?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Attempting to do one thing and how something actually plays out is two different things. They may have had intentions on making Adrian Broner their premier fighter and the fighter they're gonna get behind to push their promotion. But that ain't what happened. It was Keith Thurman. It was Keith Thurman, bro.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Okay. They was pushing Adrian Broner and Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was not.
Oh, well, my man fell off the map. I'll wait for him to come back. Yo, and wait with Brown, I hear what you're saying, but no. It was Keith one time Thurman they was pushing about. There you go. What?
They was promoting both of them. Broner was the fighter that, regardless of who the headline, and I don't know why you brought that shit back a second time. I seen it the first time.
I didn't bring it back. No, I had this one up there first. I'm just saying, listen, man.
Oh, you had this one up there. That's the one.
I just made sure I put it. I wanted you to read that one.
You put that one up twice. You ain't put the other one up. You put that one up twice. But anyway, regardless of all of that, who the headliner was, Adrian Broner was the fighter that PBC, like I said, that's why they brought in Floyd with the whole big bro, little bro. They looking at it like Adrian Broner was going to be a way bigger fighter than fucking Keith Thurman. And the reality of it is for them, he was more attractive to the fans, to the fans that was to the fans who weren't big boxing fans. He brought that Floyd Mayweather appeal that they thought that they didn't know he was going to be losing like that. They didn't know he was going to be a bum. But remember, he didn't lose the next fight. He went on another 2 or 3 years before he actually lost. Let's not get it twisted. They were still pumping him all the way up until he lost to Pacquiao, and then it was like, all right, man, we can't do nothing with you, man.
Anyway, so after Keith Thurman fights Danny Garcia, he goes and he fights Josecito Lopez, beats him, end up losing to Manny Pacquiao. And then he takes a sabbatical, goes up in the mountains to Kathmandu, started playing the flute.
He was doing that
and then made his, ayahuasca and all of that up there. You know what I mean? Found him a wife.
With Will Smith.
Then got him a bride. Came out the mountains all happy, smiling, but not fighting. You know, I think he got injured. Then he came back against Mario Barrios, who moved up, I believe, from 140. I think he was a 140 fighter. Moved up to 147 to fight Keith Thurman. And I thought this was a pretty good fight. I thought that of course I had Thurman winning. And this is the first time we got to see Keith Thurman with the hairline, the Stephen A. Smith hairline. You know what I mean? Had his wig pushed back, cut off the ponytail, and cut the braids. And he fought Mario Barrios in was that a split? Or was it a unanimous decision? Yeah, he fought. Yeah, he was
that was
a
unanimous.
unanimous. It was
That
a
was
unanimous decision.
a unanimous decision right there.
Yeah,
A well-deserved unanimous decision too. It wasn't even a question
yeah.
about that fight.
I thought, I know, a lot of people thought he probably would knock out Mario Barrios, considering he was moving up. But Mario Barrios was a good fighter, tough guy,
Nah, he
and
didn't get the knockout, but he beat the shit out that boy.
nah, I thought it was a good
You
fight.
seen
Yeah,
his
I
eye all
actually thought it was
cut
a good
up and
fight.
whatnot, man. That boy eye was deteriorating in that fight.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
he did
Nah,
that
for
boy
sure.
dirty, man. You know what I mean? So, talking about his return, he came back. We was talking about the last fight. Now let's talk about this fight right here.
Right.
My man came out there with his kids looking like
Oh,
an
let's bring
action.
that back. Yo, bro, yo, your man looked like, yeah, he looked like an action figure. He over there looked
Uh,
like Sly
was he
Stallone and
limping? No,
Rocky,
bring that
man.
back in. Was he limping? Oh, he looked a little sore.
Yo,
What was going on in here? Like something was going on in the locker room. He's like, you know what I mean?
he was out in Australia, you know what I mean, throwing them boomerangs, man. You know,
I
playing
ain't
the
gonna lie,
didgeridoo.
he was jacked up doing this guy come out. I don't know where he going. I don't know where he thought he was at. He's this brother, like he had SeaWorld or something. I don't know what type of circus he thought he was going to. You know what I mean? There you go with that cocky ass stare. You know what I mean? Look at my
Back with the
man.
hairline again. He took a little bit more off
Now
the
that
top,
right
as
hand,
you can
that
see.
looping right hand, which is the one time. That's the one time punch right there. It was finding his mark. There you see my man. He now that all started with a body shot. If you bring that back, you'll see that little rally that he started. It was a body shot that he hurt him with, and then he began backing him up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough though. You see, he held on and clinched, and
Oh,
there you go with that right hand again.
he was landing some good body shots, man.
Who's that?
Like,
Thurman?
yeah.
Ooh, there you go.
Hold on. Let's see that again. Hold on. Wait a minute. Boot.
Yeah, that was a nice to the body.
Bang, bang,
Uh,
bing, bang. Oof. Uppercut.
Split him.
Oof.
Yeah, I was picture perfect right there.
Yo, who's his barber?
You couldn't ask for
Oof.
it's the third round. We don't know who this kid is. He was supposed to do this to Jarvis. We Jarvis really didn't belong in the ring except for the highlight. We know Tszyu was
Oof.
corner. Tszyu was ringside. Tim Tszyu. We're looking at a possible. Oh, good Lord! Look at that! Look at that! That he rocked that boy. That ref said he's seen enough.
I thought you made a good point though. He was supposed to do this. It was good to see him, you know what I mean, get a knockout win against a fighter that nobody heard of. I mean, the dude name is Brock, last name Jarvis. I don't know, he sounded like a computer program or something. But I mean, he was jacked up. He looked like he came to fight. But the experience of Keith Thurman, the power, and despite the long layoff, you want to come back, get a quote unquote soft touch, which it was. But I think had he not gotten a knockout, it would have been disappointment. It would be despite because Keith Thurman got a 31 and 1 record. He only lost to the legend Manny Pacquiao, right?
Right.
His resume is world class. And he was looked at as one of the top fighters, especially in welterweight, one of the top fighters in the world. And to take, but have 2 fights over the past, what we talking about? We said 5 years, 10 years, something craziness like
I know, right? Almost 6. What? I could 2 albums in
like
5 years. I could divide. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that's a bit crazy. If he would have came back and not knocked him out, people would have been like, "Oh, he's washed." Now I will say we can't put too much merit or give too much of Keith Thurman knocked out Brock Jarvis. Is like who? But he came back and did what he's supposed to do against a fighter that's not on his level. So that was good to see. But he's now in the 154-pound division. You got Errol Spence trying to make a comeback now. Could we see that fight? Tim Tszyu, like you said, was in the crowd. The fight was in Australia. Him being Australian, he got the fight. He got a fight against he got a crossroads, somewhat of a crossroads fight between him and Joey Spencer coming up. So he wins that fight. It's looking like him and Keith Thurman might be on the collision course to get in title contention.
That's a big if.
What you mean?
That's a big if he wins that.
Oh, Tszyu?
Yeah, that's a big.
That's
a big if going in there against Joey Spencer.
Joey Spencer is coming to fight.
And I'm pretty sure, after seeing Zoo's last couple of fights, there got to be some confidence of I can beat this guy.
Right, right.
Zoo
It's
doesn't have
I mean
Zoo doesn't have that.
Tim Tszyu probably got more world class experience as of late. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he lost against Fundora, then ended up lost against, I can't pronounce the Russian dude's name, man. I'm not even doing it. But we know the last title fight he had, and he got beat. He got the brakes beat off him. Um, so he got more world class experience. Um, but Joey Spencer's no slouch, man. Joey Spencer was a highly touted, up and coming fighter. Had some setbacks. I think he went through some injuries, and then he had that loss. But his last fight, he came back, won his fight. Now he's trying to get his name back bubbling in the division. So Tim Tszyu, Joey Spencer, I love that fight. I'm looking forward to that fight. I want to see that. Um, to be honest, I mean, I'm always was kind of like a low key fan of Joey Spencer. When I say low key, like I don't really speak about him much like that, but I always kept my eye on him. I used to always watch. I watched a lot of his fights, and I was a fan. I like Joey Spencer, but I'm gonna be honest. For my appetite, you know what I mean. Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman. That sounds like the fight that needs to happen.
Sounds like the fight.
That sounds like the fight. But I wouldn't be mad if Joey Spencer was the winning fight Keith Thurman. I think that'll be a good fight. But I think Tim Tszyu, just for the styles, I think Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman, good fight. I will probably lean towards Keith Thurman in that fight, to be honest. But it's like, what happens after that, right? What happens after that? Because again, you got Errol Spence, who he disappeared after his back alley mugging against Terrence Crawford. He's
Mm-hmm.
moving up to 154. We don't know where he's going to land. The Fundora fight didn't pass. Fundora about to fight. I think his fight is coming up just now. Um, he didn't get the Fundora fight that everybody was acting like it was about to happen. Um, so does he fight a Keith Thurman on the comeback? Because we know Spence got a reputation of like, I don't want no soft touches. I want to come back and fight the best fight I could possibly fight. Is
Look,
that a fight that he would entertain now?
both of them are on the
Ever
comeback.
Spence, Keith Thurman.
I,
Yeah.
I definitely don't see why he wouldn't entertain it as far as getting a good win over a opponent who has a name like Thurman does. Thurman is back in action. He was impressive. It might not have been against a world beater. However, he was still impressive. He still has the resume he needs. But the question becomes, though, is that a fight that Thurman should even take? They're both of them are actually coming back. You know, like both of them. You know, yeah. He do need that time. That's what that was about because he was rearranged and he needed to get some things fixed. So that rhinoplasty surgery had to get right. You know what I'm saying? And walking around looking like a mad ball. You know what I'm saying?
That was a hell
But
of a beat, man. Then he had to get eye surgery or something. Was that before or after that fight? He had to get the eye surgery. I don't remember.
uh, uh, I believe
It might have
after.
been before. Was it after?
I
He had to
believe
get
after.
the eye surgery, Spence. He might have some plastic surgery done too, because that was a hell of a beating. He was in that ring getting blood knocked out. I mean, blood was coming out his hairline, bro. He was bleeding all over the place. He
Man,
got
his
the
face was
man.
red, like he looked like he had on makeup. Like it didn't even look like it was coming out of his face. It just looked like it was just like he was bleeding under his skin.
He
Like
was looking like Martin Lawrence when he fought Tommy Hearns.
that's what yeah, he definitely was, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. That was bad.
That
I
that, that
would
was that
definitely
was a bad
favor
beat.
Thurman over Zoo. But here's the thing, right? Because to me, that's the perfect fight for Thurman. The perfect
I
fight
agree.
for Thurman is Zoo. It's
Got
a
the name
big enough.
cachet
It's just a
and the
big
style
enough
matchup. I think is
name
good.
for him to come out there and make himself a player again by looking good. That's it. You know what I mean? Like if he could come out there and look good against Spence, he makes a claim. If I mean not Spence, I'm sorry. Pardon me, against Zoo. Now, if
Right.
the Zoo fight doesn't materialize and Zoo doesn't get past Spence, there's the option to possibly fight Spence or even or who else? Because does he go back to fighting a Brock Jarvis just to continue to boost his confidence and rack up another good win, hoping that he'll be able to keep his name good for a big fight? Or does he just look for a big fight? Does he look for someone like a returning Spence to come back and try to make a big fight?
Let me look at the junior middleweight division real quick. These are the players in the division now, right? Of course, Terrence Crawford is ranked number one according to Ring Magazine. Listen, it's only $10 for the year to subscribe to Ring Magazine. I mean, they ain't sponsoring us or nothing like that. But you know, if you, I had to get my Ring Magazine subscription. And for $10 for the year for the digital version, I was with it. Anyway, Terrence Crawford number one. They got Virgil Ortiz at number two. Israel Madrimov at number three. And there you go. Just the man I was talking about that beat the blood out of Tim Tszyu. Bakram Murtazaliev. Man, I'm sorry, man. Pardon me, all my Russian people. Yo, respect, but I have a hard time with these European names. You got Sebastian Fundora at number five. You got Sergey Bohachuk at number six. I think that's a good fight. I can see Spence fighting the Bohachuk. Tim Tszyu at number seven. You got Charles Conwell at number eight. Oh, and my guy, Jesus Ramos at number nine, and Xander Zayas at number 10. They need to stay away from that boy.
Yeah, Xander Zayas he's the wild card.
Yeah, stay away from that kid.
He's the
that
wild
kid
card.
is the real deal. But I also think Murtazaliev, yeah, stay away from that man right there, right now. Maybe Israel Madrimov for Spence. You know, that's a good fight. I think his style may, you know, it's a little tricky, but I can see Spencer making that adjustment. But who's Spence trainer? Who he's coming to the ring with? What's going? Nah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of questions when it comes to Spence. I do think I would say this: if Spence really wanted to, if both of these guys really wanted to make a splash, and at the same time make the dollar, right, the biggest bang for your buck. Spence, I mean, excuse me, Thurman, you beat Tim Tszyu, call out Errol Spence. Errol Spence, you accept that fight. Say, I'm jumping right in the shark water. I'm going at Keith Thurman, somebody who I should have fought at 147. He called me out. He's in line for a championship. I beat him. I'm right there getting lined up for a title too. And it's a fight that'll sell. Yeah. It's a fight. I'm buying that. I'm buying that off top. Yeah. I'm buying that. So, you know, I think if I'm Errol Spence, I'm waiting to see what happens between Tim Tszyu and or maybe get a warm up fight in between. Like, if you know he just finished fighting, the action figure over there, Keith Thurman did. Let him get his Tim Tszyu fight in, beat him, and then Spence get a little warm up, and you jump right in there, get Keith Thurman. That's pay-per-view, baby. That's pay-per-view.
If it's done that way, it's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If it's done that way, it's pay-per-view. You know, if it's you know, if it's the next fight, no, it's a crossroads fight, so to speak.
Is that hold up? Shout out to Sekou. Is that if Spence loses to Thurman, he's done as a top tier fighter? You think so, Che?
Yes. Actually, I would have to agree with that. It's not exactly, you know, I mean, there's still it depends on how he loses, you know, if it's a close, real tough fight, you know, if it's a close decision, you know, but if he goes out there and gets soundly whooped or gets knocked out, I mean, where does he go? Especially, yeah. If he goes in there as a top tier fighter, I don't see where he goes from there. And that's what the problem is. The problem is what he's saying right now. See, and I didn't want to say it, but really it's you can't think too highly of Spence. Like, you can't think too highly of Spence right now. So losing to Spence, especially if he loses soundly, it's one of those things where it can make you say, is Spence back? Is he back? Is Crawford just that freaking good? And Spence is now, and Spence is back, true to form? Or is it like, damn, yo, you losing to Spence, who just came off of that type of ass whooping? Because let's be honest, I'm not going to lie. The ass whooping that Spence took, I don't think he could ever come back from that. I don't think I think he's ruined as a fighter. And I think that's why we haven't seen him fight again. I personally think he's shot.
Before I give my opinion on that, let's pay some bills. Shout out to Artifacts Clothing. You know what I'm saying?
He was
Shout
seen unstoppable. They what did Tank say? What did he say against a glass shield? He said, what did he say?
Hold on. Hold on.
What was that bullshit he said?
Let me run this quick ad real quick. Shout out to artifactsclothing.com and my brother Mental Son.
If you don't claim it, I don't wanna get acquainted. I cannot keep cordial when your weak ass protocol keep us in danger. If you don't claim it, I don't wanna get acquainted. If you don't claim it, we don't wanna get acquainted. If you don't claim it, I don't wanna get acquainted. If you don't claim it, we don't wanna get acquainted.
The Caribbean islands to South America. The one thing we all have in common is Mama Africa. The only way
First dude with the acquainted. If you ain't acquainted, yo, that dude go hard, yo.
Yo, yeah, nah,
he's
nice.
The first dude on that track, he go hard, yo.
But the dude at the end of that track,
nah,
I don't know who that is, man. But it sounded like he was about to get busy on that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mental Son at artifactsclothing.com. Again, hold up. Let's do one more thing real quick before I address what Baba Sekou said. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a pause for the calls real quick. I just want to remind y'all to jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. Follow us on X and Instagram at the Parry 101 and on TikTok at the.parry.101. Okay, so if you and Baba Sekou was saying if Errol Spence loses to Keith Thurman, that he's done as a top tier fighter.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me ask this question. Terrence Crawford, no. Terrence Crawford is a top tier fighter. No?
It's an asterisk. It's a question mark. It's a question mark. At this,
all right, everybody, good night. I'm out, man.
What you mean? You're out. Good night. If I just said, wait a minute.
Terrence Crawford.
Wait.
It's Terrence Crawford.
My bad. I thought you said Errol Spence. Pardon me. I apologize.
Okay. Woo, you had me bugging for a second, sir. Are you thinking about it?
I apologize. I digress. That was me.
Yeah, is Terrence Crawford a top tier fighter?
He's the toppest of the tier. He is tier. He is the top tier. Terrence Crawford is the top tier.
Now, based off, I know again the man going on sabbaticals, the Catman do, you know what I'm saying? Looking for the dagger of the golden child.
Yeah. Looking
up
for
there with Brother Noomsy. You know what I'm saying? Is Keith Thurman, based off, the man is 31-1, only lost to Manny Pacquiao. Would you consider Keith Thurman? That's a good question.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll figure it out. I got it. Go ahead.
Well, would you? I don't got his age. You gotta look that up.
36. Go ahead.
Okay, he's 36.
Yeah, he's 36. What'd you think he was, man? He's been around. 2015 was the first PBC fight, right?
All right.
Headline.
All right. Is Keith Thurman a top tier fighter?
He was when he left.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not gonna take him off that level. I probably would have to see him go against. I'm talking about Keith Thurman now. I would probably have to see Keith Thurman go up against a Tim Tszyu or Sebastian Fundora or the Errol Spencers of the world to really and probably lose. See him look bad against good fighters, or maybe see him look bad against mid-level fighters to say Keith Thurman is not a top tier fighter. I think he's still on that level. Like I said, he only lost to Manny Pacquiao. I don't see how Errol Spence gets removed as a top tier fighter, losing to two good fighters or two great fighters.
Okay. I'm just interject on this one. All right.
Mm.
Errol Spence and Keith Thurman is Errol Spence and Keith Thurman are both basically in the same space. Okay. Now, as far as Keith
Sure.
Thurman, I agree with Sekou. He's technically a level below the best that's out there. You know, when you look at him, he's the next tier. You know, so you have the top tier, and he's in the upper echelon, but I wouldn't say he's actually top tier.
But he's
However,
up. He's near the
no,
top
he's in
tier.
the upper echelon. No, that's what I'm saying. He's
Okay.
in that upper echelon, right?
Right.
So
Right.
now, the thing I'm saying is they're in that same space is you have to put question marks next to them. How they look up against other good to great fighters is going to tell. Is going to be the tell of the tape. Is, you know what I mean? We're not going to be able to tell where Thurman is at beating up on Jarvis Brock. We're just not. Yeah, man.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
We know that he still has his power, and we know that he still knows how to throw his punches with his form. But that's the only thing we were really able to really tell in that fight.
That's fair.
With that being said, we haven't seen anything from Spence since he fought and got destroyed. Since he got destroyed, and there was question after question after question after that ass whooping. That ass whooping created questions that we didn't even know we was thinking about. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, you know, both of them have that question mark. Are they still elite level fighters? That's what the question is. They were definitely in the elite when it comes to, you know, the tiers of boxing, but do they still belong in that elite level? You know what I'm saying?
I think, you know, okay, I can see that. I can see that.
And no,
I
I don't rank Thurman in the top 10 pound for pound fighters today.
no.
I probably
Definitely not.
He probably is somewhere in the top 30 outside of the top 25.
I think due to inactivity, okay, I'll give you that. But
3 years, bruh. That's a lot. At 36, there's too many questions to just put him there. To just say he's still where he was, there's too many questions.
I'm not
that need to be answered.
I'm not saying that. I think his resume, the fact that he came back again, had he came back and not did what he did against Brock Jarvis, if he came back and just looked like slower,
if he struggled, basically.
If he struggled beating the guy one by split decision, I'd have been like, he got him up out of here, man. Packed him up fast. Get him up out of here. Let me get my check. Let me go back up into the mountains, Kathmandu, because I want the knife. You know what I'm saying? He went up there, you know what I'm saying, looking for the golden child, me. So I'm not gonna just like say Keith Thurman necessarily lost a step. We just haven't seen him against the top tier competition due to inactivity. I need to see him against Tim Tszyu. How he looks against Tim Tszyu will give me a better gauge on whether I've, you know,
put Tim Tszyu at? What tier would you put a Tim Tszyu? Oh, real quick, say cool. You still here? Because I wanted to ask you something real quick, man. If you would be available next Sunday. You know what I mean? If you're available next Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if we could get Baba Sekou up here.
I don't know if he was piecing out on us or not.
I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't bounce, man. But if anything, I'll reach out to him because you know,
I'm a not too.
I won't, you know, I won't be able to be on the show next week because I'm, you know, gonna do a little thing with the family. That's something. That's my goddamn business.
All right, bet. Let me know, man. Get back with me, and we'll definitely work something out, man.
I know you guys gonna miss me. It ain't the same with me up here, but Baba Sekou was more than qualified to sit in my seat. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the big bro. So you know, again, where do I place Tim Tszyu? I mean, he's up there. I don't put him in the pound for pound conversation. If I guess if fighters like, let's say, the Murtazayevs and the Terrence Crawford, I'm just looking at the division now, not like overall boxing, just like the division at 154. Terrence Crawford, the Israel Madrimals, the Murtazayevs will be probably the cream of the crop. The Sebastian Fondoras will probably be the cream of the crop of the division. I would put him right under that, right? Which is probably the same place I would place Keith Thurman at this point. I think Keith Thurman is probably a better fighter. I would say probably. I think he's a better
first
fighter.
of all, I would not place them in the same spot at all.
I'm saying as of right now, due to
Even
inactivity. I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Thurman is a world beater. Thurman is a world class fighter. The answer to the question, I mean, I can't like your answer. I can't say your answer is wrong, but what I'm saying is this: he's a contender. That's my opinion. What he is, he's a tough contender. That's the tier that he's at. He's not a world
Tim
beater.
Tszyu?
Yes,
Tim Tszyu. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
He's a tough contender. He is not a world class beater.
He's a former world champion.
He's not crossed. He is. He's a titleist though, man. I don't want to get into that right now because to me, I don't give him that. No, I don't give him that. It's not tomato. That's the difference between him and Thurman. That's the difference.
Okay, you know what? I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I can't argue with that. Normally, I'll be hitting the boo button on you. You know what I'm saying? But that's fair. That's fair. But like you said, again, based off inactivity, you can't place Keith Thurman in that upper echelon, in that top tier, based off inactivity, based off his resume and his history. He has shown to be on that level. But if you're asking me where I place Tim Tszyu again, I will probably place him and Keith Thurman in the same bracket at this particular time. I think Keith Thurman is a better fighter. I think Keith Thurman beats Tim Tszyu. But he just beat Brock Jarvis. Like, he didn't beat nobody. He came back, but he did what he had to do. And Tim Tszyu was coming off. And Tim Tszyu is coming off of a back alley mugging. Like, he got dragged.
Even
like homeboy
layoff though, his resume is so much more. It's so much more better.
By light years. By
like
light
that,
years.
Even with the layoff, when you look at the resume, you gotta sit there and say, okay. The only thing to me that puts them in an even field, and which is why when Baba Sekou said he favors slightly. He slightly edges Thurman in that fight. To me is the age. That's it.
I got you.
You know what I mean? If we're talking about a 27-year-old Thurman, he goes out there and smokes Tszyu.
As much as I want to disagree with you, I can say that. That's fair. God damn, I want to disagree with you though, but that's fair. I can't really debate that. That's fair. Based off the age, his resume, is Keith Thurman a better? All right, I think if Keith Thurman beats Tim Tszyu in my opinion. Again, like I said, I put them in the same class as of right now, only due to the inactivity. Only two, you just beat Brock Jarvis. This is somebody who has been in the division, held a title in this division. So I can't place him maybe slightly above Tim Tszyu at this point. At this point, when they fight, I think we'll see how wide that gap really is. Is Keith Thurman still on a, on a different level from a fighter like Tim Tszyu, or has he regressed back to? I can say regressed back, but or has he, lost a step? Is he on a level of a Tim Tszyu, or is he amongst the cream of the crop of the 154-pound division? And that's yet to be answered until these two get in the ring. or we see him fight somebody on the caliber of, you know, the main guys at the division. He's not getting the Terrence Crawford fight.
I'm gonna
He
agree
may
with
get, huh?
I'm gonna agree with you.
He
You're
may
making sense right
get
now. Go ahead.
Yo, it's a
Continue.
lot going on today, man. We both agreeing with each other. It's crazy.
Go ahead.
He may get, he ain't getting a Terrence Crawford fight. That's clear. He may get a Fedorov fight somewhere down the line. Maybe he gets Murtalazayev, which I'm gonna say this. I don't know if I would pick Terrence Crawford to beat him at this particular point. Like if he was going right into that fight,
Terrence
I don't know.
Crawford to beat who?
Not Terrence Crawford, excuse me, Keith Thurman. If I said Terrence Crawford, I meant Keith Thurman.
I know. Okay.
I don't know if Keith Thurman coming off of Brock, I almost said Brock Lesnar, or for Brock, what's my man name again? Jarvis. Coming off of Brock Jarvis knockout, going into a fight with Bakram. I wouldn't pick Keith Thurman right off top. I would, I'll be a little like, because this Russian, he packs a punch. He comes forward. He's a beast. So I don't know if how that fight would go. I don't know if I'll put him on that level, but I could see him against a Sebastian Fundora. Or I could see him against Israel Madrimov. Those would be good fights for him at this point. But I think Tim Tszyu is probably that's the route to go unless Errol Spence decides to come back and jump right in the ring with Keith Thurman.
Well, real quick, I'm gonna pull up the 154-pound. You already pulled up the rankings, right? You got the rankings in front of you?
I'll pull them up.
Pull them up.
For the 154-pound, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, put them on the screen.
I don't know about a Virgil Ortiz fight either, but go ahead.
Put them on the screen real quick. I just want to, because we're
about I don't have it on that. I can pull it up. Hold on.
Yeah, pull it up. Put it on the screen real quick before we end this program. Mm-hmm. Just want to look at Thurman's place in the division and give my assessment.
All right.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be a real tough one. And I kind of like Spencer in this one, to be honest with you. So
Joey Spencer over Tim Tszyu, you saying?
Tszyu definitely has his own hell waiting for him with Joey Spencer.
Now let's pull this up. All right. So this is the top 10 rankings at 154. Ring Magazine.
I'll tell you, this is what I believe. Based off of what I know about, and there's still the question marks are still there, but based on what I know and what I've seen in the history of Thurman, I would say Thurman, if he is 90% of what he was, beats everybody on this list with the exception of Terrence Crawford and Virgil Ortiz.
I'm going to say...
And I'm not even saying that he can't beat Virgil Ortiz. I've just, Virgil Ortiz might be somebody. He might be something. He actually might be something. And I don't know that just yet.
I just know he put on a hell of a performance against Israel Madrimov.
He doesn't know how to lose. Virgil Ortiz does not know how to lose.
I mean, I think he got a gift against who was his fight before that? Bohachuk? I ain't gonna say he got a gift. It was close. I did score the fight for him, but he didn't look good in that fight.
But he won that fight. I gave him that fight.
Yeah, I gave him that fight in a close fight. I'm gonna say
Bohachuk did his thing. I was impressed by Bohachuk.
I think right now Terrence Crawford beats everybody from number 7 down. But based on number 7 down, I think the wild card, Xander Zayas, being as young as he is, as strong as he is, as big as he is, but I think he lacks the experience to fight a fighter like Keith Thurman at this point. Jesus Ramos, I think he's another wild card from number 7 down. But I think Conwell, and Tim Tszyu, they don't beat Terrence Crawford. Sergey Boachuk at this point, I think he may even lose to Keith Thurman, but that's a good scrap. Sebastian Fundora, I don't think Sebastian Fundora could beat Keith Thurman right now. Now, from number 4 on up is where it gets scary. Okay, Murtazayev is a beast. Israel Madrimov is really good. Virgil Ortiz is world class. And Terrence Crawford, well, we don't even got to talk about that because it ain't happening. He's going against Canelo Alvarez. So I think anywhere from number 5 on down is a good test, good fights for him. I think Conwell, I don't think another one. I don't think he got the experience to go up against a fighter like Keith Thurman. I think Tim Tszyu just don't have the skill set to beat him. Jesus Ramos, he's a tall, lanky fighter, but he stays in the pocket. I think Keith Thurman with his movement will give him issues, but I think that's a. I think I ain't gonna just throw him out the window and say he can't beat Keith Thurman. I think that's a, on a good day, if he came in there really prepared, he may give Keith Thurman a little bit of problems. Xander Zayas just don't have the experience yet, but I like his size. I like his fighting style. He's quick, but he's able to be hit. That's the only thing about Xander Zayas, but he got the goods. I think he's the future of this division. Like I said, Boachuk, I think if he comes in there focused, like on his A game, gives Keith Thurman a good fight. I just don't know if he beats him. For some reason, I just don't believe in Sebastian Fundora. I don't believe in him. Not like that. I like him.
I'm the same way.
Fighter, but I don't
I'm the same way. I don't believe in him either. He's just occupying. He's like what was my man name? Javier Castillo, not Castillo, Castillo. He's like one of those type of fighters, like a Laurent Bandwani. They got titles and they hold the position until somebody comes along. Someone like a Fernando Vargas or somebody like a David Reed comes along. These guys are place markers almost to me. And he feels like, I could be wrong, but he definitely feels like one. Pay attention, Bomani.
Oh, my fault. I was, I'm actually looking at the screen. I was looking at our screen.
But I got it. Yeah, okay, man. But shit. But shit, I was saying though, I'm the same with you though. I'm exactly with how you feel on him. But just to reiterate the key to what I was saying, it's based off of what I know about him already. I'm basing everything off of his resume and what I know about him. The layoff and his age creates question marks, and these questions need to be answered. So even though I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that but from what I know of him, he should be able to beat. If remember, the key thing was if he's 90% of what he was before the layoff, I would say he beats everybody but Joel Ortiz and of course Terrence Crawford. But I thought that was a very fair assessment as well that you gave, because if he's not 90%, then everything you said is pretty much how I feel.
Right. But I will say, just as a Keith Thurman fan, it's good to see him back. Hopefully he stays active. Hopefully Tim Tszyu, again, I hate to say I hope Tim Tszyu beats Joey Spencer because I really like Joey Spencer. I really like that fight.
But that's for you. But you want to see a Tszyu Thurman fight?
Yes, I want to see a Tim Tszyu Keith Thurman fight. That's the fight I want to see.
If Joey Spencer beats Tim Tszyu, what's wrong with a Tim Tszyu? I mean, a Spencer Thurman fight.
I think because for a fighter like Keith Thurman, Joey Spencer just doesn't have the name cachet like Tim Tszyu at this point. I'm not saying it's a bad fight or even a bad matchup. If Keith Thurman is going to move up in the division and become one of the players in the division, I think beating somebody, a former champion, like, use your term, a former titleist, not your term, but to use the term you use, he's a former titleist in a division, And the name cachet, the Tszyu name, Tim Tszyu, he already got the name cachet with him, partly from his father, partly from what he
Yes.
did in his own career, right? I think that gives him a little bit more of a bump and give him a little bit more, something to be like, look, give me a title shot, or Errol Spence, what's up? I just knocked off Tim Tszyu. Let's get this fight going, more than the Joey Spencer. Because Joey Spencer really don't have, I mean, he's a good fighter for the hardcores. We know who he is. We like Joey Spencer. And, Joey Spencer's really on a comeback trail. So, and like the brother Karan says, Joey Spencer needs to add a little bit more to his resume. I do think a Tim Tszyu win kind of, that gets his name back buzzing in the division, but he's gonna need another fight before he get a Keith Thurman fight. But I think a Tim Tszyu fight, a Tim Tszyu Keith Thurman fight, I'm buying that. Like, I'm paying for that. Pay-per-view, if that's on pay-per-view, I'm buying that.
For the most part, I agree with you. For the most part, where
Okay.
I disagree is that it all depends on how Spence wins. If Spence comes out there and starches this kid, if he comes out there, Spencer comes out, Joey Spencer. If he comes out here and destroys this kid, comes out here, starches this kid, or just beats him from post to post for 12 rounds, then I could say, okay, well, let's see him and Thurman now. This is the guy we was going to put Thurman in the ring with, and he destroyed him. He didn't just beat him, he destroyed him. Let's see Thurman in the ring with this guy now. So I do think that if Spence does win the fight and he wins it big, it makes an intriguing fight for Thurman. It makes an intriguing test for Thurman. It may not be the bigger fight name cachet, but I do think that in the world of boxing and moving forward in his career, it does something for him.
I'm gonna be honest. I think if Joey Spencer, let's just say, like you said, destroys Tim Tszyu, knocks him down a few times, or even knocks him out, the narrative is going to be, well, this guy's already damaged from the last fight, because Murtalazayev, I mean, he was a back alley mugging. Like, this dude beat the brakes off him, knocked him down every round, finished him, right? So that will be the narrative. Okay, you beat Tim Tszyu. That's a good name on your resume. You knocked him out. But
it doesn't advance Joey Spencer as much as it should have, being that I get what you're saying. He's coming off of that tough loss. It doesn't really, it's really like if Spence comes out and gets beat, and I'm talking about Errol Spence after his last destructive bout, he comes out and gets beat. It doesn't necessarily say the guy who beat him, is that good necessarily, but Spence is a ruined fighter.
Right.
Speaking more to that, I get it. I get it. I get it, and I can see that.
But if Tim Tszyu now beats up on a Joey Spencer, okay, after the beatdown you done took, you came back, you beat a good fighter, you get your name. He gets his name back in the mix, and then he can make the fight with Keith Thurman. Again, I'm watching the Joey Spencer Tim Tszyu fight. I don't know if it's pay-per-view. If it is, I'm buying it. I'm watching that fight. I think that's a good fight. Again, it's hard for me to root against Joey Spencer, because I always been, like I said, like a low-key fan of Joey Spencer. So, let's see what happens. But again, when it comes to the matchup, though, I think a Tim Tszyu Keith Thurman fight
one last
is
scenario,
probably the better route.
real quick. One last, because I know we even ran over time, actually, but one last scenario, real quick.
Yeah.
What if it's a blood and guts, Gaddy Ward type fight, and Spencer, dramatic knockout, or wins it, but it was just that type of fight?
Then I could see if it was a blood and guts back and forth war.
Both fighters
getting knocked down, getting up.
Gotti type.
Right. If it's one of those, I could see Spencer probably really getting a boost, behind his name, and then it's like, all right, yeah, Keith Thurman, like, what's up? Yeah, but it probably would take something like that for Joey Spencer to really be able to call out Keith Thurman, and people really want to see that fight at that point. I don't know if it's just like, okay, you just you go in there and you destroy Tim Tszyu and knock him out. Again, the narrative is going to be Murtalazayev done softened him up and you know, gave that man a concussion that he ain't ever recovered from. You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, again, I'd rather see Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. I'm sorry, it got to be at the expense of my man Joey Spencer, but it's just one of them things, man. That's how the sport go. But yeah, man, we almost running out of time.
We actually out of time, to be technical.
Yeah, we out of time. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in. You know what I'm saying? With us today, man. Definitely want to thank y'all, man, for coming in, support the channel.
Oh, man, we got the greatest, realest fight fans on here right now, man.
Absolutely. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you. But once again, please do me a favor. Go ahead and jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content, and follow us on Instagram and X at the Parry 101. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok at the.parry.101. This is the Parry, man. You know what I'm saying? Baba say cool, we're gonna get at you. Cause my brother Che Black gonna need your assistance. Cause I'm gonna be somewhere drinking some white rum, eating some stuff, snapper with the callaloo and you know, and never mind, I'm even gonna get into it. Yeah, it's part of me. I'm looking forward to, you know, my week coming up.
Well, we know that the brother will be gone next week, but the Parry will still be here, and the brother's spirit will still be here. So we in the building.
Absolutely.
Parry's in the building.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm staying, you know, I'm always here, even when I'm not here. You feel me? But yeah, man. Any parting words you want to say before we get up out of here, Chick?
You know, just tune in next week. You know, to everybody watching once again, everybody who tuned in, everybody who commented, appreciate the comment. You know, say cool, part of the family. You know,
absolutely.
Peace, Quran, Sister Amanatu. You know what I mean? We got, you know, brother Metsu son with the logo, just the whole family and everybody who's been tuning in and rocking with us, man. Y'all make it even doper for us, man. Y'all don't even know that, but y'all make it even doper for us.
Absolutely, man. And thank you for supporting us once again. But this is once again, my name is Bomani UFG.
I'm the pragmatic Che Black.
And remember, this is the Parry, where we don't pull or duck no punches, and the Parry is fundamental to boxing. You know what it is. Till next time, we out of here. Peace.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called parrying.